CM Punk, Seth Rollins promo. You watched this morning?
I did watch this.
Thoroughly enjoyed it as well. What did you think of it all?
I think one of the better interviews I've heard in several years. I think those guys work well together. And I think, and you told me somebody said this, that CM Punk left him in the dust. He did. I mean, Seth went out there and hit every phrase he's ever used before CM Punk got out there, and he got the crowd up. They were waiting to see it. And I was waiting for Punk to come out there, and Punk come out there. And them going back and forth, I think CM Punk, though, he cut to the quick, as they say. And I think he brought blood first. And that made me want to see the match. So I want to see if they can put that intensity they had in that promo, if they can put that in their match, it'd be worth seeing. So I'm interested in the match now.
There was the first thing that Seth told CM Punk is that you took your ball and went home.
Yeah.
And Punk just shot that down straight away, said that's a worn-out industry cliche cooked up by promoters to turn fans against the boys. And I thought, what a great turn of phrase for that as well. And they referenced Steve Austin when he left in 2002, and they kept, wearing out that phrase back in 2002 to sort of turn the fans against Steve Austin, which is essentially what the promoter is doing. And obviously Punk would go on Colt Cabana's podcast and then talk bad about WWE. But it really makes me, when you go back and you reflect on when a wrestler like a Punk or a Steve Austin or something like that leaves a big-time promotion like WWE, just how quick the promotion is there to label them a traitor or label them disloyal, or, they hate the fans, and they just they try and kill the wrestler as best they can.
Wrestling is a cutthroat business. It's always been a cutthroat business. Here's an example. A guy quits the territory and leaves. He said, I'll never work for them son of a bitches again, them bastards, this, that, and the other. Screw them, this, that. And he hated them. And the promoter on the other end said, screw him. I will never book him again. Because he's a no-good bastard. He's a liar. He's this, he's that. So like a year goes by. Promoter's territory goes down a little bit. He needs something to jumpstart it. The guy who left, he's in a place he's not doing too well. He's not making the money he made before. He said, I need to find me a place to go. Now, they're never going to talk. They hate each other when they left. So here's a call. Here's a wrestler calling that promoter. Hey, Bill, Jim, what are you doing, man? And then it's all forgotten. Because if this guy can make money for the promoter, and the promoter knows that, hey, it's just business. And they go back together and they run it till it falls apart again. That's the nature of the business. They can cuss each other, call each other all kind of names. But then when money is involved, or a promoter needs a jump start, or the wrestler needs to make more money, they will call each other. Because they did business before, they can do it again.
Yeah, WWE's got a rich history of, we'll never talk to this person again, like Ultimate Warrior or Bruno Sammartino. I doubt they'll ever bring back, Nails or anything, but, for the most part, they'll bring people back. But I've got another example for you.
When they bring people back, is people that have demonstrated they can attract ticket sales.
Yeah, elsewhere, yeah.
Or pay-per-views or something, or sell merchandise. That's the only reason they bring the guy, not because they like the guy. Hell, that's somebody liking you in wrestling is like, hey, you come up with a knife in your hand and say, hey, buddy, how you doing? Ooh, right in the back. I'm doing okay. Yeah. It's a weird business. It is.
I think it was a little before you got to Mid-South, but I remember seeing Bill Watts. I just did the unmitigated gall of Bill Watts to bitch and complain on air about how disloyal Junkyard Dog was for taking money and going to the WWF. And how dare he take a bigger paycheck? You know what I mean? Well,
not only did he turn his back on Bill Watts, but worse, he turned his back on all the fans.
But did he?
No, really? But that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
Said he turned his back. Well, to make anything more, gripping, you got to make it on a personal level. So what happened to him was just between him and Junkyard Dog. But what he did, leaving, not only hurt Bill, but he hurt the fans too. He turned his back on them too. So he made it personal for the fans. But yeah, the fans are going to care if they cared, and they can understand that he wants to go somewhere else. He wants to make money. He's only got a certain amount of time. So I think talking like that was feeding uh, Bill's character a little bit more than anybody else. He was trying to demonstrate that he's not the one wrong. Junkyard Dog is, but nobody bought it. So he was just talking.
Elsewhere, Seth Rollins, CM Punk are discussing, or in fact, Seth Rollins basically says you went on your buddy's podcast. He means Colt Cabana, and then you, to tear WWE down. Then you took a big chunk of change to go to the competition. He means AEW. How'd that work out for you? Which is the quote. And then later on, CM Punk says, well, apart from the fact that he calls Seth that he's dressed like an idiot, he says that he hated the guy he worked for. The guy being Vince McMahon, but he loved Seth. So that's why Punk left and then Seth stayed, kind of thing. So he's referenced Colt Cabana, he's referenced AEW, he's referenced Vince McMahon, all without saying any of their names. What's your opinion on these almost like cross-promotion references? Because obviously, you've been in wars with Georgia, you've been on the roster when there's been a war with Georgia, you've been in Memphis versus the Poffos and Goulas and stuff like that. What's your opinion on referencing outside stuff like this?
I think everybody kind of got it, or at least half the crowd got it. They know what he's talking about. And see, we deal with an insider product now more than we ever have. We come right out and say it's just the work because that's what they're thinking anyway. But yet, why does it sell out? You say, because not the wrestling, it sells out because of the story. That's why they sell out. So, but I think everybody got it. Everybody's in on it, which really has its advantages too. So, but I thought their interview, even with their inside references, everybody got it. But the feeling you got when they had that stare down is these guys really don't like each other. They sold that well. And I think if they'd have had any kind of physical contact, would have killed it deader than Kelsey's nuts. You ever heard that saying?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought, who was Kelsey, by the way?
I can't remember the answer, but I actually read the etymology behind it once, and I can't remember what it is. Google it yourself. Do you know the one thing I thought was missing, and it's something that they don't really do very often? I think AEW did this more than WWE in the past few years, is the segment's missing one thing, and it's the interviewer in the middle. It's a Jim Ross or a Tony Schiavone or a Mean Gene or a Lance Russell. I love it when they've got an anchor in the middle to then feed questions. They don't even have to feed questions, but I like having a host of that kind of thing. What do you think?
Well, I like it too, because now he's that barrier. At least there's a little separation. Because a fan would say, well, wait a minute, if you're so damn mad at each other, why don't you just go ahead and throw down right here? Why we gotta wait for a pay-per-view to see it? But if you got that guy in the middle, and all he turns into is he's going to hold that mic. That's all he's doing. But he's still that invisible. Well, he's not invisible. He's that barrier that, the guys, I don't know if that's better or not, but I think in this one, if you'd have had an interviewer there, I think it would have worked on this one. I think it would still work on all of them, to tell you the truth. But anyway, and you can't do this, that no guy in the middle with everybody, because some guys just can't do that. You know what I didn't like about Seth, though? He's walking around. And stay in one place. You got to walk around that's me. I mean, somebody else, it may not bother them. But I think at the end of the day, it made me want to see the match. And I think the people were more with Punk than they were with Seth. Right? They were saying CM Punk, CM Punk. I was even saying it, see ya, and that's by myself. CM. But it was one of the better interviews I've heard at least the last 5 years.
I don't know if we said this off air or we said this at the beginning, but I sort of think that Punk really got the better of Seth in real life because it seemed that Seth was, using the worn out cliches of a Vince McMahon era, where Punk is talking like a human being and talking from the heart, kind of thing. And you know what it is? These WWE promos where, for the most part, it just looks like they're nearly to a man or woman terrible actors. So all they're doing is just trying to remember the lines they were given 2 hours ago, whereas Punk actually just speaks from the heart.
Okay, I'm listening to that and I'm saying, wait a minute. I don't think this was written down. I think they went out there and they probably told each other what they're going to say back and forth. I think this was an interview between two pros, and I think the writer took a back seat. Because what's the writer going to do? The guys that have to feel this. That's what I'm saying. When I guarantee you, when Seth went down to the ring, he felt the pulse of that crowd. I call it he felt the heat in the room. And when he got in there and he got these people responding a little bit, now he got a little more comfortable. And then when CM Punk came down and they set him up good, he was feeling the heat in the room too. So now both of them are feeling it. The people are feeling it. People at home are feeling it. And I think they had a really, I can't put it over anymore. They had a great interview. And I think if they'd have tried to follow that with some punches or any kind of a touching each other, I think they would have lost it.
Yeah, that match will be on the first Raw on Netflix as well, which is might be January 6th or January 7th, I can't remember. It's one of the two anyway. But I'll be watching it, so I'm sure you will be as well, so there'll be plenty of us to talk about. Before we get off...
SmackDown Friday night.
Yeah, it's still Friday, yeah.
It's where is it?
USA Network.
Okay.
Anyway.
This is a 3-hour show.
Yes. Raw's 3 hours on Netflix, SmackDown is 3 hours on USA now.
Go ahead.
I know. Before we get to CM Punk.
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah. You need to get them to pay you more, sort of compensation, I guess.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, you're doing 50% more work, man. Think about it.